Well, thank you everyone for attending tonight, and we thank you for spending this evening with us. We truly appreciate your dedication to the lead and for learning about our product. We have with us this evening Jerry Canny, who will present our presentation this evening, and K.A. Turner, our senior editor of the lead. So she is absolutely responsible for all the great things you see in this product, and we're excited to have her. We are all open to questions. Just a few things. Jerry Canny is our tour guide, as I said, and she is our enterprise retention manager, and she has prepared this presentation for you. She will review navigating and activating the lead, downloading the iOS and Android apps, and upcoming product enhancements as well. And then we'll have a Q&A. Feel free to use the chat. There's a chat feature at the very top of your navigation bar to ask any questions during the presentation. We really want your questions and feedback, so we're excited to hear from you. Things to note: please mute yourself when you join the meeting. Use the chat portion, and we encourage you to follow.
Susan, you're on mute.
Oh my goodness, I just did a whole presentation on mute. Very nice.
No, only a little bit of it.
We heard you.
I don't know how that happened. So, teams, the best laid plans. Anyway, we're excited to have you with us this evening. We truly appreciate it. Jerry Canny will be your tour guide, and we are very fortunate to have with us this evening K.A. Turner, who is our senior editor of the lead. With that, I'm going to turn it over to K.A. at this point. And K.A., it's all yours.
Thank you, ma'am. I will be brief here, but I would be remiss if I didn't start this way. Most of you who have met us here tonight are folks who were longtime subscribers to some of our newspaper products. And I think that I want to start by saying thank you. For years and years and years, you have supported our work and supported our journalism through the purchase of those newspapers. You have allowed us to do this work in all of our communities. We are grateful for that. We are forever humbled by that. Life has changed a little bit. The delivery mechanism has changed. But our commitment to still being a point of good journalism in our communities has not changed at all. And the fact that y'all are learning the lead and beginning to experience the lead and willing to support us in this new product is very important to us. I am thankful for that. I look forward to talking to you off and on during this hour as you have questions. And I'm very grateful to Susan and Jerry for setting this up so that we can show you a little bit more about a product that we're proud of and try to answer some of your questions and things along the way. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, K.A. Jerry, if you would continue.
All right. So with that, I am going to click off the presentation slide you see here, and we are going to go live as I demo the Birmingham News, or Birmingham Lead is what we'll be demoing tonight. I know that there are folks here that read and subscribe to the Mobile Lead, the Huntsville Lead, and the Birmingham Lead. But tonight, for presentation purposes, we'll start out with the Birmingham Lead. The navigation of that lead, how you activate all of those pieces that get you access to the lead are all the same from product to product. So, and the look and feel of it is the same. So we'll start there. So I'll share my screen. And Sue, are we up and running?
We are.
Okay. So where you're going to start is at the subscriber center, and that's myaccount.al.com. And don't worry if you don't get all of this down. We are recording the session, so we'll send this out to you afterwards. But myaccount.al.com is where you will go to activate your account. So we'll click on Activate. And the very first step is to create an account to link your subscription. And by creating a digital account with an email address and linking your print subscription, you're going to be able to do two things. You're going to be able to access the lead stories 7 days a week.
Step one, create an account.
And you're going to be able to manage your subscription account online. And what you can do by managing your subscription account online is you'll be able to see things like you can make a payment there, you can access your digital products there, you can change your preferences, your profile there. So it's a very good idea to create this access up front, and then you'll be all set to go. The other reason, the other thing I want to point out actually is that we often run promotions during the course of the year. These might be reader promotions where you can earn. We just had one running where you can earn. We were giving away $400 or $500 Visa gift cards weekly, and we'll tie those to things like engagement and reading the lead. But we want to make it fun, and we want to get you engaged with it. So oftentimes when you come to the Subscriber Center, you'll see that information. So the first step is to create the account. So we're going to hit Continue. And then you'll need to create, you'll have to enter your email address and create a password to create the account. So I am going to set that up now. And then a password. And once I've done that, you need to click on the User Agreement and Privacy Policy, and then on Create an Account. So step 2, find and link your subscription. So the very first part of that is to look up, select a primary lookup option. So that would be the last name. And then you're going to look up your account by the account number, zip code and phone number, or zip code and house number. So I'm going to choose account number. And then I'm going to link the subscription. And then you'll get a message that your account has been successfully linked. I did mention too, up here at the top, you will see a progress bar, and you can follow along. You'll see that, we've done step 1, step 2, and now we're on our confirmation. So now we're ready to access online. I can either read the Birmingham lead, or I can choose to manage my account. We are going to go directly to the lead, and we'll start navigating. Now, before I do that, I do want to mention, I know that there will be some people on the call that have already activated your account. And I'm not sure, we try to promote this, but maybe there are some of you who have missed the message. But you can actually activate up to 5 people per household. So if there are other family members in your house that you'd like to activate, you can do that using the same exact process that we just went through. You would just add another email address, you'd click Activate, add another email address, and create another password for those additional users. So we'll go read the Birmingham lead. And again, we're just doing this for presentation purposes. Navigation is similar between products. So we will land on a landing page that we call the kiosk. So up here is where you can toggle back and forth to get back to the kiosk. You will see today's edition on the left, and you will see archives at the bottom of the page. So we will house 28 past editions for you, and you can just scroll through to pick any edition that you want here. And then up on top, we display our specials, and we'll take a look at those a little bit later in the presentation. But we do, and this is fairly new, we have added the New York Times Book Review. We've got the Parade magazine. So you will see those listed at the top. And then this is something, again, fairly new. We've created a navigation guide. So if I were to click this, this will give you a lot of what I'm talking about tonight with you. So it'll just step you through how to navigate the lead. Just wait for that to load. So this is a handy tool. You know, if you get stuck or you're thinking there might be an easier way to get through this. So this will tell you all of the things that I'm going to show you tonight. You know, how to click through, what are some of the pages and some of the articles and the content that are available in the lead. So we will start. I will select Sunday. And when you get here, you need to enter those credentials that you just set up. So I will do that now. And then I'll sign in here. I'll mention a couple of the other buttons. We have a subscribe button. You won't need that because you're subscribers, but if someone were to land on this page and they weren't a subscriber, they could click on the subscribe button there. This is just another place that you can activate. I have shown you how to activate through the Subscriber Center. This is just another location where you can do that. But most importantly, if you're like me and you forget your password, you can click here to reset your password. But we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sign in. And that opens today's edition. So we have these, we've done a really nice job with front covers. So here is our front cover. You can navigate in a number of different ways. We have a top section navigation. So when you click there, you will see listed all of the sections that are in today's edition of the lead. And really, you can just click through where, you know, people have a certain way they like to read their products, right? You know, and you know, it might be the comics or the puzzles you like to go to first. Maybe it's commentary. So you can just click where you want to go. The index is handy. That's on the very next section. And that will tell you all the top stories that are in today's lead. So you can scan through here. And again, it's just another way for you to pick and choose where you want to go first. So let's step through some of that. We'll click through. We've got about the lead with a note to readers. We have some handy contact information on this page so that you can reach out if you have any comments, suggestions, questions. All right, so hitting some of these sections, let's go to the local section. And once you get to a section, you're just going to scroll through and you can read the article in that manner. You can also move with your front arrow and back arrow keys, moving from section to section and article to article. You can engage the page slider down at the bottom of the screen. So if you click on this page slider on the circle and you just slide it along, you'll see all the pages in that day's edition. And you can choose your edition from there. Here we are at sports. At the bottom, you'll see an icon. This is a share icon. And when you click on that, you will be able to share that article via social media. So we've got Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and you can email this. So you could email that to a friend, a colleague. So those are some of the available share options for you. Okay, so here is South. We've got Nation, World. We've got advice here. So you've got all of your advice columns. We've got Dear Abby, which runs every day. We've got Everyday Cheapskate, Hints from Heloise, Horoscopes by Holiday. And then we come up to the digital obituaries. And how these are laid out is you'll see an index at the top of the obituary section, and you'll see that day's obituaries listed there. And then as you scroll through, each will be its own story.
So, Jerry, pardon the interruption, but we have Suzanne, who is a guest here this evening, who has just raised her hand. Suzanne, do you have a question?
Yes. Can you clip a portion of an article if you just want to send a paragraph to someone?
This is KA. No, ma'am, we do not have a good way to do that right now. If I wanted to do that, if I were going to try to do that, probably what I would end up doing is sending an email to myself, opening it in another browser on my computer, and use a screen grab to do that. I know that is clunky, but if I needed to do that, that is probably what I would try.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question, Suzanne. We appreciate it.
KA, did you want to talk about anything else on obituaries in terms of timing and
Sure.
those are formatted?
So obituaries, we are still the same mechanism that we used in all of our communities to place obituaries in print remains today. And just so you'll know, is sort of by way of background, usually funeral homes will assist people with doing that. Sometimes individuals will place those obituaries themselves. But because we had a 3-day-a-week print schedule, I think funeral homes and others grew more accustomed to that 3-day-a-week schedule. We print obituaries every day, and we get you the obituaries as quickly as we can. If somebody places an obituary through about 11:45 today, this evening, it will be in the lead tomorrow. We want to do them as quickly as we can so that you have time, as it's appropriate, to react to that information. But in all 3 of our markets, we run obituaries every day, and we run them as many as are made available to us.
All right.
Thank you, KA.
Okay, we'll go to comics. And here you'll see we have pages of comics listed. You can see here as you scroll through that you're entering into the next page. Just to show you the extent of that here. And I'll go to pickles because I know KA likes pickles.
I didn't learn to like pickles until all our audience liked pickles.
So if you click on one of the comics, it'll expand it for you. So it'll bring it to a larger font that you can read, which is pretty nice. And then we get to puzzles. And I've got to admit, I am not a huge puzzle person, but I do like jumping in here and kind of noodling around because it becomes an obsessive thing. But you can click on the crossword puzzles. We'll wait for this to grab one here. So you can bring up your puzzles. You saw that I used a little calendar here. This is an interactive crossword puzzle. It's the LA Times crossword, so I'm sure some of you are very familiar with that. But there are various settings that you can use that make the interactive piece of this a lot of fun, where you can validate, you can cheat, I say, reveal the square, reveal the word or puzzle. And there are various settings that you can use just to set up the way you'd like to play the game. And that is available with a lot of the crosswords you'll see here. Let me go to. Okay. Okay, and just to go over a few of the other icons here, to get back to the kiosk again, you're
Hey, Jerry,
here.
can I jump in about puzzles for just a moment?
Oh, yeah, sure.
First of all, we've got 3 pages of puzzles here now. We grouped crosswords on page 1, other word games are on page 2, and then number games, mostly Sudoku, are on page 3 of those puzzles. Honesty compels me to say that we continue to work to improve the performance of our puzzles in the lead. What we're finding is a lot of times the way people have a computer set up will affect this. Sometimes the browser that you are using will affect this. We're working sort of constantly to help people make sure that they can get the best use of their puzzle that they can. And not all of our puzzles are printable. And a lot of people right now want that printable element to their puzzle. It is sort of one of my highest priorities to we have a lead on several different things that we are doing to improve this. I would beg your patience. I may not be able to have it perfect tomorrow. We're going to have it better soon, and we have technology patches and other things coming that will make it even better in the coming days. So if any of you are playing puzzles and if they drive you a little bit crazy, feel free to reach out to me, tell me that's happening, and know that we are working on trying to smooth out a couple of things about how various people can play at any given time.
Excellent. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you, KA. Jerry, before we continue, we had a couple of questions from Debbie Stubbs. So she wanted to know, how do you find the various columnists, and do you still have op-eds? So maybe that's a question for you and KA.
So if you're talking about the local columnists that you are accustomed to reading in print, people like John Archibald, Kyle Whitmire, Cameron Smith, Roy Johnson, Francis Coleman, folks who are local columnists are still in the lead. We are working to get their information, to get their columns aligned to certain days. But sometimes our columnists write off the news. And if there's a news hook to the column, it might run sooner than, it might typically run otherwise. But you will find all of those columnists will be represented in the lead. We are also in the process of adding, we do some guest columns when they are submitted to us, and you are finding them more and more in the lead. And then we are working on a roster of national columnists that we plan to pair, one who's more progressive, one who's more conservative. We're trying to pair those up and to do some occasional op-ed material. The closest thing that we have to op-ed material right now, which has been kind of popular, is something that we call the Monday conversation or the Tuesday conversation or the Wednesday conversation. And that is op-ed material from academics all over the country who take a look at various and things that are sundry things that are in the news and write about those in a way that might literally be intended to start a conversation. One thing just to know about the lead, because a lot of the pages look the same, we have a bit of a color scheme in the lead. And so if you see anything that is purple, if it is marked with a purple header, or if you see a column sig that has a purple background, that is opinion and commentary. And that's the way that we mark it in the lead. And you'll see those examples there, Roy and David Scher in Birmingham. That's always your cue to know if you see that purple color, that is commentary. Did I get your question mostly, Debbie?
And I would think if you wanted to search, you could do a control find, right? And be able to search for an author, if you will, a columnist. We had a Mr. WM or Ms. WM Neely raise their hand. Happy to answer your question. So if you would take yourself off of mute, and we're here to help you. All right, Mr. and Ms. Neely, if you're hearing this, we're here for you. Your hand is raised. Happy to help when you're ready. Thank you. Jerry, would you like to continue?
Yeah, just a few other things. So as I was mentioning, wherever you are in the lead, you can get back to the kiosk just by hitting the logo up here on the upper left. So if you click on that, you come right back, and again, you can go wherever it is you want to go. So I thought I'd take a moment and share with you some of the specials. So we have the book review. And when I select the book review, it's defaulting to this one page option, but you can put this in a 2-page view up in that icon up here. And you'll see again, we have the sections that are listed across the top that you can just go from section to section. I'm going to move forward this way. So I'm in what's considered a double page spread here. And if I want to go back, I can click here and go back to a 1-page view. And then back to a 2-page view. Down here, we have the page slider, so I can select pages in that manner. And if you click on an article, it will produce it in this one article view. You'll see down here, again, your social icons. And from here, you can print. And we have a font icon. So if you want to bring up that font, you just keep clicking on that icon to bring up the font. It's a little bit different than your lead edition in that you can also read in this fashion, and you can increase the page by hitting on the magnifying glass. And then you just grab and move around if you'd like to read that way. So we give you options, and you can choose whatever you feel most comfortable with.
So Jerry, if I may, Debbie Stubbs has another question. So Debbie, how can we help you? Debbie has raised her hand. I'm here to assist Debbie if you're ready. Okay, well, we'll continue. And if there's more to come, just let us know.
And I'll share Parade. And again, I'll put it in the 2-page view. Parade's a little bit different in that you're not able to click on a particular article and look at that in a single article view. This is created in a PDF format, and that's how we need to produce that. So it's a little bit different than what you'll get from the New York Times Book Review. But if you need to increase the article, you can just increase it by the magnifying glass down below. Okay, and then you have a print icon here, so you can print a page. There is a help button here, which will bring you to a series of questions if you need any assistance in navigating, or if you need to know where to go to download one of the apps. We're going to go through that in just a moment. Some contact information for customer service. And then there's a settings button over here. So that just gives you information about your account. When you're reading these supplements, if you like a single page or a double page view, you can set one of those as your default. So you have some options there. And you can also sign out here.
Hey, Jerry, if you don't mind, I'm going to answer one question and then I'm going to reach back and get an iPad in an effort to answer another one.
Okay.
But to the Neelys, yes, I am pleased to say that Beth Timms has agreed that she will continue to write a column for the Lead. We plan to run it on Sundays, and she was in Sunday's Lead. Got a column sig with she griped at us because we made her make a new picture, but I really like her new picture. So there. Yes, we are absolutely happy to have Beth. Debbie, my favorite way to consume the product is on an iPad. And I'm going to tell you something that I believe, and then I'm going to go check on my iPad to make sure. Yes, all of these features are available through the app. If you are looking at your Lead edition on the app, you'll notice a little menu in the top left that people like to call the hamburger menu. If you touch on that, you should be able to see archives and the specials. And that is the way that you access those specials if you're in the app. That's the way I think it's supposed to work. I'm going to put myself on mute and go make sure that that's the way it works.
It is. In KA, just for the group, I'm going to show you a video on downloading the apps and what that looks like. I don't think you're going to see the New York. I mean, I did that video a bit ago. I think it was before we started posting and publishing the book review in Parade. So you may not see those on the app. So I just want to throw that out there. But KA, that'd be great if you could check that out for us. And while she's doing that, what do you think, Sue? We'll kick off the video.
I think it's time. Thank you, Jerry.
All right, so bear with me again.
We appreciate all the questions and the comments. It's very helpful for us. KA will tell you as she's going through her iPad now that we really, this is your product. We really want to be open to what you would like to see and recommendations. So we appreciate it all. So thank you.
All right, so this is just a short video and we're going to kick it off.
Jerry, thank you very much. I hope KA is back. We have a question from W.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Really perfect. His question is comment is one of my favorite things is in the paper was a crypto quote. Will it be coming back? I'd be very disappointed if it won't reappear.
There's nothing in the world I hate worse than disappointing our customers. I don't have a digital edition of CryptoQuote available to us right now. It doesn't mean I've quit looking. It doesn't mean I'll quit trying. But today we don't have CryptoQuote, and it is not on the near horizon. We added some puzzles that I hope will be fun, including some new word puzzles. I'm sort of hoping that maybe people will learn to like a few of the new ones. But I know folks miss CryptoQuote, and I'm just sorry that I can't get it to you right now.
Well, we appreciate that, KA. And Suzanne has raised her hand. So Suzanne, what is your question?
Was there a video? Nothing appeared on my screen. Did I miss it?
Yep, there was a video. The good news is that after this is done sometime tomorrow, we will send out the video that Jerry presented. And you'll be able to click on a link and see the video at your leisure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's perfect. Thank you.
We also have a navigation video that we're running every day in the lead. You can play it within the app or online there too, and that will help you through some of that stuff. So you can grab some additional information there.
Thank you, KA. Do we have any questions from anyone? First of all, we'd like to thank everybody for attending, and we had some really good questions and feedback. It's always helpful. KA, while you were looking at the iPad, one of the things I said was that, look, this is your product. You know, we're interested in knowing what you want to hear and to see. So with that, I'm going to turn that over to you.
Absolutely. Let me do a couple of things in hopes of maybe sparking a few questions. First of all, just some general thoughts about sort of how we organize the lead. I think if you look at the lead, you're going to see local and state news in the very front, because that's the franchise for us. That is what we are trying hard to deliver to you every day. And then we have some sections that follow that tend to be local copy, right? Whether it is commentary or it is maybe a life section that's a blend of local and wire. And we do all of those things before we get back into the regional, national, and international news that you're also accustomed to reading every day. In aggregate, we have more news than we have anything else, but you kind of get it in pieces, parts. So sometimes people kind of miss some of the state and national and international news. Just keep swiping or just use your index to get there. It's there. We do something every day in a lot of places in the lead that we call the catch up. We will have a South catch up, a nation catch up, a sports catch up, and that's not the red stuff that you dunk your French fries in. That's my Southern accent way to say the word CATCHUP. But those tend to be small several smaller stories to a page. We're trying to give you a mix of longer reads, things that you can really kind of sit down and wade into. But we also want to make sure that if, you know, the old water cooler thing, we want you to know a little bit about a lot of things that are going on. So you'll see full stories, and then you'll see those shorter kind of brief things in what we call the catch up. Just keep scrolling on those and you can see more of them. This would be a good example. You've got Alabama basketball here, Jerry. You'd have to swipe a while to get to a catch up there. But that's something that we like for people to know. There's other stuff at the end of those sections in a place that we call the catch up. I would love to answer your questions because I learn more by answering your questions than I do any other part of my day. So is there anybody else who has, you're welcome to gripe at me if you want to do that. Lots of folks do. If you have something you really like, tell me that and I'll try to do more of it. But any other questions that we have from folks?
I just wanted to point out, Kay, before we do questions too, we did not see this in the edition I was demonstrating, but if we do show additional images in the galleries, and when you see this camera with a number like in this Roll Tide roll, it's telling you that there are other images in that gallery that you can view. So I just wanted to point that out to you.
Perfect. Suzanne has again raised her hand. How can we help you?
I'm trying to unmute. Just curious, how much of the content, percentage-wise, if you can say it, how much of the content is sports related versus life related, like social services, whatever? The life section versus the sports section, and even the sports section as it relates to the entire content, because I know whenever I'm reading it, I keep turning pages and turning pages and turning pages, sports, 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 and it just seems to be so much. And I know we live in Alabama, but I'd be curious to know what is the percentage of the content devoted to sports versus everything else.
I think if you look at the entirety of the pages in this thing at any given time, you're going to see right now probably plus or minus 5, about 50 pages in this most days. Of those pages, I think you will find plus or minus 5, 15 pages of sports. But again, when I tell you the totality of that, that means comics and puzzles, and it means obituaries, and it means advice content, and that kind of thing. We're probably a couple of weeks away from adding another 5 or 6 pages daily that will be built around business content. So that will be additional non-sports content. Probably another good way for me to answer your question is to say something that I probably should have said before. In much the same way that newspapers used wire services, we use AL.com as a primary local source of content, right? You could view them as our local wire. And so anything local that they write, we tend to pick up and put in the lead, which includes a decent amount of sports. But we're also, we subscribe to the Associated Press Wire. We subscribe to Tribune Wire content. The Washington Post will not let us use their content because we are a digital product. And we do not buy New York Times, but we have, 2 major wire services. We also buy, for Alabama statewide news, we buy the content of Alabama Daily News, which is another Montgomery-based news reporting service that we run in the lead, and have access to another Alabama news service that has just recently started up called Alabama Reflector. The guy who runs it is actually a guy that used to be the chief state politics reporter for the Montgomery Advertiser. So in aggregate, there is more news and other things than sports, but we do live in Alabama. And when I don't put something in sports in the lead, I tend to have people ask me why it's not there. So I also have a wonderful gentleman that I've talked with off and on since we started this thing, who keeps griping at me because we get more and more in the lead every day. He says he is compelled to look at every page. And when it had 30 pages in it, he could handle it a lot better in the mornings than he can handle it with 50 plus. Yes, there's sports, but there are other things as well.
Okay, I would just like to say, we made the announcement that we were discontinuing print in November, and that we were going to a digital product. So the digital product that you may have viewed in November is much improved today. There are so many good changes with it. And with that said, this is an evolving product. So you can look forward to even bigger and better things as we move forward. And so, and as Ka said, her information was on the last screen, and we'll show that again. She wants to hear from you. What do you like? What do you don't like? How can we assist? As I said at the beginning of the call, this is your product. We want to, it's a kind of an audience, right, where you never can please everyone, but you don't want to displease everyone either. So we're here to assist and do what we can. So this product today is, as you said, Kay, 30 pages to now 50 pages. It's a good problem to have when somebody says you're chock full of stuff and I just don't have time to read it all. That's a real good problem to have.
Also, just for what it's worth, I mean, this product, if I had to argue for why you should support this product, I would tell you a couple of things. First of all, and foremost, this is a product that intends to deliver local news about the place where you live. It literally is our local news strategy to build up a product that you subscribe to and support. And the more subscribers we get and the more traction we get with the lead, the more local reporters you're going to see, including, I'm excited to say, that we have recently hired a local investigative editor who will have a local investigative reporter in each of the big cities. We hope to have those people in place sometime in the next 6 weeks or so. And so you've got additional local reporting power in all of your markets coming. When we started the lead, hired a new reporter in each of our big cities to write specifically for the lead. So we understand that local reporting is what we can do that nobody else does, and we are committed to doing that. I think the other thing that I would say about this is that whether it's AL.com, which is a fire hose of information that usually posts about 100 things a day, and all of the information that's out there, we have somebody working a number of hours every day to select stories for you that we believe you will be most interested in, right? And I was talking to a friend of mine who picked up the lead somewhat recently and said how excited she was that she cited a couple of specific news stories. And said she was so glad that the lead was there so that she could read reporting like that. And I said, well, thank you, and I'm glad you're glad. But by the way, those were both on AL.com. And she said, I totally missed them. Because if you don't watch AL.com, about 20 times a day, you're going to miss something. Mm-hmm. So the curation of this, pulling all of this stuff together in one place for you, is also an advantage that the lead brings you that some other things don't.
So if we have a newsworthy item about a nonprofit, for instance, where should we send that? To the lead or to AL.com?
Once upon a time, AL.com let you post that kind of information yourself so that it could be present on the website. They don't have that ability anymore. They don't offer that ability anymore. I continue to grapple with the best way to answer your question where the lead is concerned. I am fiddling around with the idea of what amounts to a community bulletin board. If you send it to me, we will try to just print it as is so that you can see it. That's not a very curated way to do it. And so it may be that I set up an email address and we try to build out some local briefs with that kind of information. I think that's what is more likely. But the best answer that I have for your question right now is email it to me and let me see what kind of volume there is and what kinds of things we can do with that so that we can then turn around and get that news out to people.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions or comments? I don't see any hands raised, so I think we're good for now. We're at the top of the hour. First and foremost, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to spend your evening with us. We know your time is valuable. We appreciate your feedback. as KA said and Jerry said, we're here for you. Local content is really what we're all about here. KA's information is here that will be sent to you as well. And we're here for you. So let us know your thoughts and your comments and your questions, and just feel free to reach out at your convenience. And if you have any ideas, we're open to all of that as well. So
Absolutely.
with that, I want to say thank you, KA and Jerry. Thank you so much. Nice job. And we'll be holding more of these in the future. And for now, we'll say good evening to you and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.